Envision briefly that all that you realize about yourself is just a little piece of what really exists, as though there are different variants of you living inside you, every form being able to follow a remarkable way with encounters, information, and abilities that you have not yet reached. These forms, which we call the equal self, are associated with you through an organization. Imperceptible to cognizance, like various parts of a similar tree, however, consider the possibility that you couldn't see these duplicates, yet in addition, access the information and power they have. Might what you at any point call yourself be only a brief indication, restricted by your view of existence? Maybe the self you realize now is only a little part from a bigger substance spread across numerous real factors, with a cognizance that rises above the hindrances that we think about the real world. These inquiries don't have basic responses. However, one thing is sure. The more you grow your mindfulness, the more you start to comprehend that the truth you know is just a shallow layer. At the point when we start to investigate the possibility of various selves inside us, we understand that what's going on in one of these real factors is that you can straightforwardly influence others. Your internal identity is now residing in a reality where the longings you have today have been satisfied. Yet, the inquiry is, how would you get to this self? Understanding the presence of this internal identity can be the initial step to finding capacities you never envisioned. The way into this lies in your capacity to see time and reality distinctively and open your brain to the likelihood that your choices before, present, and future decide the self you are. Presently, they can occur simultaneously, and right now, you can interface with a savvier, more experienced, more proficient variant of yourself. At the point when you understand this, you might get to that insight at any point, as well as bring the gathered insight of those variants into the present. So I ask you, in the event that you could gain from the self that has proactively accomplished what you want, how might that change your excursion? At the point when we open ourselves to this chance, we start to see that time and the truth are simply devices that can be molded by our design and cognizance. And in doing so, we start to rise above the constraints forced by actual reality. Today, you will find the genuine force of your inward equal self. Understanding that each of your variants coincides right now, today you will learn how to see these equal adaptations as well as how to encounter them as time sees them. A large portion of us consider time to be a ceaseless, continuous, straight stream that moves from the past through the present and forward into what's to come. Indeed, consider the possibility that time, similar to the real world, doesn't follow a decent example. Imagine a scenario where it can really be formed, twisted, and, surprisingly, controlled, relying upon the manner in which we see it. The human psyche, due to its mental restrictions, tries to find request amidst turmoil, and this requirement for structure results from the development of direct time. However, when you begin to look past this psychological development, you understand that time is certainly not a straight line, but instead a huge expanse of potential outcomes that coincide simultaneously. Time is definitely not an all-inclusive steady stream. It is uniform for everybody, except it is a projection of our cognizance. The way to understanding this customary view is to extend your impression of time and comprehend that it answers your internal experience and can be controlled in light of your perspective. Consider it. Have you at any point halted to contemplate how time feels, like it elapses gradually when you're exhausted, yet flies by when you are engaged? In a pleasant encounter, this is the principal glimpse that time is pliable, and an emotional encounter that changes as per our sentiments and concentration. Since time in an inside productive climate mirrors the manner in which we direct our consideration and the force of our encounters. When we extend our mindfulness and quit viewing time as something unbending, we start to understand that it tends to be formed as a device for our potential benefit. So we can say that growing mindfulness is the key that opens the real essence of time, since when you extend your mindfulness, your perspective on time changes profoundly. You start to comprehend that the current second, it isn't simply a point on a way towards the future, yet rather an endless field where the past, present, and future coincide. In this field of awareness, there isn't only one truth, yet rather numerous bits of insight that you can get to and live, every one of them interconnected. However, what figures out which truth you will live? I say that it is your mindfulness. Extending cognizance resembles waking you up to your encounters where every one of your variants and all potential real factors coincide at the equivalent. Endlessly, time is presently not a limitation, yet a device for access. At the point when you go past the straight impression of time, you start to understand that you can bounce starting with one course of events, then onto the next, an idea known as quantum hopping. Be that as it may, this bounce isn't genuinely, yet intellectually. A development of your cognizance permits you to arrive at a form of yourself that as of now exists in another reality. A rendition that has proactively accomplished what your internal identity looks for. The equal that has accomplished what you currently view as only a craving has previously grasped the mysteries of time and reality. So you live in a condition of extended cognizance where there are no hindrances between now and what's to come. At the point when you grow your cognizance, you associate with this cognizance, and what once appeared to be a far-off objective, something later on, starts to emerge in the present. This course of arriving at to what's in store presently is what many call a quantum jump, and this shows the significance of God all-powerful. On the off chance that you view your cravings as something that can be accomplished one day, then, at that point, you are putting yourself helpless before straight discernment. However, when you comprehend that all that you want as of now exists in one more reality that can be arrived at through your mindfulness, starts to twist time in support of yourself. As such, you quit hanging tight for the future and begin carrying that future into the present. This extension of mindfulness changes your impression of time as well as the manner in which you manage your world. The more you extend your psyche, the more you understand that you're moving between various real factors and adaptations of yourself. Insight that once appeared to be far off and results that once appeared to be impossible become pieces of your present. Time, as far as we might be concerned, is a breakdown, and what remains is a limitless cognizance fit for encountering anything. A second in any reality whenever. This comprehension of the non-straight nature of time makes the way for a degree of sign time, no longer decides when or how your cravings will be satisfied. Rather, your cognizance turns into the problem solver, molding your experience of existence as per your will. As of now, the relationship with your equal self becomes, I might want to explain here that I am not letting you know that your mindfulness is the main specialist, yet rather that the person who made you and gave you this mindfulness is the one in particular who is responsible for all that you are, all that you need, and all that you will be, God, all-powerful. So you should initially keep up with your relationship with God, the all-powerful, and look for His assistance and confidence in Him. As you move towards your objective, as we examined previously, your equal self is a variant of you that exists in a substitute reality and has proactively figured out how to move among time and aspects such that you may not as yet completely see. This variant of you has previously experienced the difficulties you face currently, tracked down arrangements, and accomplished the objectives you long for, and in particular, that is on the grounds that she comprehended how time could be utilized as a device as opposed to a deterrent. Your equal self is the sign of to the significance of the Maker, brilliance be to Him. A duplicate of you has risen above the cutoff points, forced by the straight view of existence. Envision that while you live reality in a successive way, many minutes, your equal self has previously found that all insights coincide together. For this duplicate of you, there is a finished opportunity to cooperate with the various insights accessible. It is you live in a condition of extended cognizance where each decision and each experience has been tried and perceived in manners you're simply now starting to investigate. The more you free yourself up to the likelihood that variants of yourself live inside you, the simpler it becomes to get to them. The critical lies in your aim and concentration. Through practices like petition, reflection, and contemplation, you can line up with the recurrence of this equal self and retain its insight, experiences, and achievements, God willing. At the point when you do this, you gain lucidity about your excursion, but you also start to bring what your equal internal identity has previously dominated in one more reality into your ongoing life. Consider it a dataset gatekeeper where each equal rendition of you addresses a particular arrangement of encounters and choices. What's more, the insight that can be opened when you are on top of these bits of insight. For instance, assuming you are attempting to tackle a specific issue or accomplish an objective that appears to be far off, interfacing with this equal rendition of you that has proactively tackled this issue can extraordinarily accelerate the interaction. This rendition has previously strolled the way that you are on. It is presently, and can provide you with a profound comprehension of how to accomplish what you need all the more proficiently and with less obstruction. The insight presented by your equal self can be inconspicuous or, in any event, astonishing. In some cases, it comes as instinct or unexplained sentiments. At the point when you follow it, it leads you precisely where you should be. Different times, this astuteness might arise during snapshots of profound quietness when you're profoundly associated with your internal identity, regardless of what structure it takes. In all actuality, this equal internal identity has a lot to educate you. It has proactively experienced the encounters you look for and found the answers for the difficulties you face. In particular, you have become the best at accomplishing what you want in substitute real factors. At the point when you interface with your inward equal self, you understand that the constraints you frequently attribute to your life, whether in time or previously, are, or assets, or valuable open doors are, only impressions of a restricted view of the real world. This exceptional rendition of you has something vital to instruct you. That you have at this very moment the capacity to rise above the hindrances of what appears to be inconceivable by the order of God, all-powerful. At the point when you coordinate this information, you understand that the equal internal identity is a functioning and present piece of our excursion that God made us for itself, and this relationship goes past getting to data. It is tied in with coordinating the encounters you have lived and getting them to the current second in a way that can totally change your existence. This association drives us to investigate the idea of quantum hopping. The idea of quantum bounces might appear as though something out of the mind-boggling hypotheses of physical science, yet it additionally conveys direct impacts in the field of awareness and sign. Basically, a quantum jump is the development starting with one reality and then onto the next rapidly, and without the need to go through every one of the transitional stages. While applying this idea to resemble real factors, a quantum jump resembles changing a channel where you change your cognizance to another reality, another rendition of you, without the need to following the customary direct way to arrive at this express. This progress between real factors happens when the vibrations of your mindfulness with a form of you that is as of now residing in what you need to encounter your equal internal identity that has proactively dominated what you want lives in a condition of extended mindfulness where there are no hindrances between now and the future. When you interface with it, you start to carry this insight into the current second, and this isn't simply a course of investigating the future. However, it is reshaping the present in a manner that rises above timetables. These quantum jumps make the way for a degree of indication where the satisfaction of your cravings no longer relies upon the progression of time or the customary grouping of occasions. All things being equal, your mindfulness turns into the essential element molding your experience. You understand that your conceivable outcomes are not restricted, however boundless, ready to be satisfied. It is investigated through cognizant expectation and concentration. Magnificence be to God, the incomparable maker. Eventually, when you comprehend that time and reality can be formed by your awareness, you become compelling in your life. You understand that all that you need is, as of now, inside your span, and that your equal self is just an impression of the inert potential that God has put inside you. By growing, your mindfulness empowers you to get to these potential outcomes and make them part of your day-to-day routine. Much obliged to you for getting this excursion together with me. Assuming that you feel that this video has contacted something inside you, I welcome you to like and buy into our feed and offer this video with others so they can likewise profit from this message. And remember to pass on a remark beneath the video to impart to us your contemplations, reflections, and encounters. Thank you again for watching and going along with me. Take care of yourself and see you soon.